So you're going out to buy a used car in the market and you're not sure, am I buying a good car? What do I do? What is the do's and don'ts when you go buy a used car? In today's video, I will share with you my experience as first I was a Toyota Master Diagnostic Technician in a dealership, then currently I own an automotive repair shop. These are the mistakes that I see people make all the time when they buy a used car. They bring it in for inspection and we have all kinds of problems. These are mistakes that I don't want you to make. So let us start with the first one and we'll go through everything. Research is key. I see so many folks walk in the dealership still in 2024, not knowing what kind of car they want. They walk into the dealership, oh, what do you have? We have a family, we want an SUV, what options do we have? Don't do that. Because remember one thing, a car's dealership's sales department, their principal job is sales, not anything else. Doesn't make them bad folks, doesn't make them they're trying to take advantage of you or whatnot, because 9 out of 10 times, and I almost said 10 out of 10 times would be more accurate, the salesperson selling you the car, they have no idea what this car is, what condition it is, how reliable it is, how good it is or not good it is. They don't know, and that's an unrealistic expectation in 2024. There's so much information about a car that you go talk to a salesperson. Many of the times, they don't know. Good salespeople will be like, you know what, the question you're asking, I don't know, let me find out. But unfortunately, there is the bad ones that will make up an answer just to give you an answer so we can make a sale. That's the problem. But that is not the responsibility of the salesman. It's your responsibility to research. And here's what I mean by research. You're going to buy a used car. First, before we even talk about the car itself, you're going to see, what kind of car do you want? What are your needs? What are your wants? Very important that you identify that before you even decide what car I am going to buy. Because used cars are, as the word says, used cars. The reason people buy used cars is because they're cheaper than new cars. If you want a car that is as perfect as it's going to be, go buy a new one. Simple as that. So here's what the research is going to start. You need to write a list. What is your wants? What is your needs? The needs we don't compromise on. The wants, they may be compromises. That is the number one thing. Then you're gonna start researching on the internet. Folks, we live in times where you can find anything on the internet. You need to find out what cars out there fit your criteria. Once you decide, I want this SUV or this SUV or this SUV. These 3 models are checking my boxes. Most people will stop right there and start searching for these cars, go look at a bunch of them. That is the biggest mistake. Because just because these 3 models check your boxes for what you need and what you want, doesn't mean that they're actually good long term. Nobody buys a car, or actually, I shouldn't say nobody. Majority of folks buying cars, they're buying them with the expectation we're going to keep it for as long as it is feasible to keep it. The research starts on these specific models. Are these good cars? What are some of their common problems? Does the reliability of this car and its features and everything line up with our plan? Because we're going to talk about the plan in a little bit here. But you need to know what you're getting yourself into. Some cars are good, they're reliable, they're well made, this and that. But these cars, you are looking for them, so is everybody else. Then there's the cars that no matter what you do to them, they're just not well made. They're not good cars. Flat out, they have a lot of problems. Even the best one that you'll find will have problems. Well, how do you know that if you didn't look? Folks, you don't have to be a mechanic or into cars or into that. You need to do your research not only on what car I'm going to look at, but the cars that fit your criteria. What are their common problems? You need to know that, and are they good cars to begin with? And myself and many other mechanics are posting videos on YouTube talking about their common problems. Simple as that. And here's something I would like you to never do. You walk into a dealership, you've done the research. You know, you narrowed it down to 3 models that you're looking at. 2 of them are preferred. 1 of them is kind of the third one because it does have a few more common issues that make you uncomfortable. You walk in the dealership, and I see this all the time. Hey, I'm here to see this particular model, this particular car that you have for sale. it's either sold already or you go drive it and it's not in good shape, as good as it looked on pictures. This is a mistake I see people do. Oh, what other cars do you have? Ignoring all your research and all your stuff. And the salesman will basically be like, well, we have this other SUV. Do you want to look at it? You look at it. Oh my God, it's so good. How can I not think about this? You buy it, and then the next day you found out what you actually bought was not good. Don't do your research at the dealership. I see so many folks trying to buy cars. They're on their phone trying to look. That's a mistake. Stop, walk away. No matter what pressing situation, no matter how much little time you have to actually decide and buy a car, don't make that mistake. Which is going to lead us to the next mistake, which is after you researched, you found the car you want, the next mistake is vital that you don't do. You researched, you did everything, even if you know about cars and you looked into their common problems and you checked this car, you checked all your boxes, this car's checking all your boxes. The $1 million question is, are you a mechanic? Are you someone that truly knows these cars to a point where you can actually identify a good car from a bad car? It is my opinion, any car you inspect, what you look at on the outside is 25% of the story. Lift this car up and look underneath it. You will see the rest of the story. A pre-purchase inspection is essential for you to know you're actually buying a car that is as good as it looks on the outside, underneath, and in the important stuff. That is the thing. And the second thing was pre-purchase inspections. Who's doing the pre-purchase inspection? Does the person doing the pre-purchase inspection actually cares? That's the second problem. I see so many pre-purchase inspections that happen, and then when the car shows up in the shop, it's like, how could they miss this stuff? This is like vital, common stuff with this model. How could they miss it? You need to have a specialist do an inspection on that particular car, somebody that knows that car, not just, here's another car, let's lift it up and check for oil leaks. Or my favorite one, taking a car you're buying to a classic shop, classic restoration shop. All they work on is 40, 50-year-old cars. You take them a car that's 5 years old, expect them to know everything about it. They're not, flat out. They're gonna look at it like, yeah, it looks good. I mean, I don't see anything, it drives okay, but did they actually check specific things about this car that are known and common? No. The other option for pre-purchase inspections is dealerships. And here's the problem with dealerships. You could get a really good pre-purchase inspection at a dealership, or you could get a really bad one. I remember clearly some technicians that I've actually unfortunately worked with, they will look at the pre-purchase inspection, this car is fine, it's fine, let's just move on with life, it's fine, it's all there. Did you actually look? Because that's a responsibility. I personally, and many other mechanics, take it as a huge responsibility. Pre-purchase inspections raise my blood pressure because we need to be as thorough as possible to make sure that this family that's going to put their finances on the line with this car, they're going to buy a good car, because even the best pre-purchase inspection is not kind of a vision of the future. There may be stuff you miss, but if you give it your 110% best, you may catch most of this stuff. Pre-purchase inspections are essential, folks. But I know that many will skip this part for many reasons. Some of them good, some of them not good. Good reasons to skip a pre-purchase inspection. Well, the dealership you're buying the car from just doesn't allow you to take it somewhere for pre-purchase. I get that. I see that a lot. And people in that case will rely on something called CarFax and Autocheck. But what is that? CarFax and Autocheck. Granted, in my opinion, CarFax usually is a little bit more detailed than Autocheck. Most people use that as a determination, is this a good car or a bad car? That is the biggest mistake you will ever make. And let me tell you why. Nothing against CarFax and Autocheck. The main stuff, the big stuff, is this a branded title? Is this a kind of a disaster car? Has the odometer been rolled back? This is the obvious stuff you're going to check. But here's the problem. Do you actually know what CarFax and Autocheck is? Most people assume it's like some government registry. Folks, they're private companies. They're basically reporting entities. That's all they do. Folks report to them, they put them on a platform. That's all it is. Buy the VIN number. Here's a scenario. You go look at a car, it has beautiful service history. I mean, every 5,000 miles on the dot, vehicle serviced, vehicle serviced, vehicle serviced. Do you actually know how that works? One of these vehicles serviced could have been customer states engine making knocking noises. Technician says car has a bad engine, needs an engine replacement. At times, for reasons unknown to me, it'll actually appear as vehicle serviced. And you're just assuming, well, vehicle's been serviced, it's been maintained. Let me share with you some red flags that you can kind of decipher from a car's CarFax or AutoCheck history that will make you think twice about this car. First, look at the general trends of this car. Don't read too much into it though, because CarFax is only as good as the entities reporting to it. Many shops will not, and dealerships, believe it or not, will not report to CarFax. My shop reports to CarFax. It costs me money to do that because this is a value that we give to our customers, that whatever we do is going to get reported. So should you sell the car one day, they will be able to see the entire history. But not every shop will want to do that. And that's not something against them. It costs them money. If it doesn't work for their business model, I understand. But read into the CarFax and read between the lines. Here's how. Look at the car's overall forecast for service. Does it have a detailed service where it says exactly what was done? Does it say oil change, tire rotation, coolant replaced, transmission fluid replaced, or flushed, or whatever the terminology they use? Or does it just say vehicle serviced? Vehicle serviced, don't take that as a service. That's number one. Number two, you see the first, let's say the car has 150,000 miles you're looking at. The first 100,000 miles looks pretty consistent service. Immediately skip, because it doesn't matter the middle part. It's the initial part. Was this car serviced good at the beginning? And then we get to the end. The end is essential. You all of a sudden look at a car and it has vehicle service, vehicle service, vehicle serviced, and then vehicle offered for sale. Look at the dates and miles. Why was this car serviced 3 times consecutively, and the distance between each service is 10 miles, 100 miles, 150 miles, then not 3 miles later, car offered for sale? What does that tell you? You know what that tells me? The customer had a problem with the car, tried to fix it, didn't get fixed, tried to fix it. Third time they found something catastrophic, they traded it and moved on. That's how that would look like. But at the same time, and this is where things get difficult, this is why I don't want you to take the CarFax as a pre-purchase inspection or a history of the car that's detailed. It could be customer took the car in for an inspection before they sell it to make sure it's good. Then they took it the next time to put some wipers. Then they took it the third time because they were actually trying to sell it to somebody that did the pre-purchase inspection. And then it didn't pan out, they didn't like it, whatever, and they just traded it. How about that? Dealerships sometimes will list their own pre-purchase inspection as a vehicle service, and they will sometimes do it 3 times for whatever reason when the day that they are doing the trade-in, and you'll see it like that. So you gotta identify that. Accidents is the next disaster. I call it disaster because it is. You see an accident on CarFax, you need to use that not as a determining factor, I don't want this car, this thing is not good. No, you need to investigate it. You see an accident reported on CarFax, was it a scratch that got repaired and ended up being an impact on the CarFax? Or was it a giant accident that was never reported? Because that's always the case. You see an accident reported on CarFax at a specific point, go look at the car and focus on that area. Do you see something off? You take it for a pre-purchase inspection, mention that, hey, this car listed an accident here. Can you focus on this area? Or you see a car that has no accident history at all. People take that as in that is written in stone. Let me tell you one thing. If I crash my car and destroy it, I bring it in my shop. I don't write any paperwork on it. I glue it back together with the cheapest stuff possible, and it looks horrible, and I go trade it off. How does CarFax know? Actually, won't. Here's what reports to CarFax. Insurance companies, police reports get reported to CarFax. Or body shops will report to CarFax. That's how they know. If nobody tells them, if I fix it in my backyard, how are they going to know? They won't. and you won't see it. So when you see no accidents on a car, I would actually be a little bit more worried checking it, especially if you're buying a 10, 15-year-old car. I mean, how many 10, 15-year-old cars didn't get a tiny little fender bender, tiny little scratch that got painted? Honestly, not a lot. That's the reality. Not a lot. So you're expecting going to buy a 10, 15-year-old car to have a small accident here or there, nothing major, as long as it was repaired good, with good parts, good job, good labor, good paint. We don't have concerns. That is very important, folks. Look at the CarFax, but read into it and don't make decisions based off it. Use it as a research tool, not a decision-making tool. That is very important, folks. And folks, this is the part that unfortunately many folks don't think about. What's the plan with this car? You know, if you bought a new car, you want to keep it for as long as possible. That's understandable. But when you buy a used car, what's the plan? Are you buying this used car to keep it for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 2 years? I really dislike it when folks buy a car. I'm going to buy this, keep it till the wheels fall off. I don't want the wheels falling off of my car. Dangerous. You got to have a plan. And you got to have expectations out of that plan. And based on that is how you're going to actually go back to the beginning and start your research all over again. Because if you're going to buy a car that has a reputation for having transmission problems and engine problems, and they rust really badly, and this and that, and you happen to live in a rust belt area, you're not going to keep that car for 25 years. That's bottom line. And then you go buy another car. Say you live in a very hot Arizona. You buy a car that has notorious AC problems. Do you think that's a good idea? What's the plan? You gotta manage your expectations, folks. This is very important, and I see this mistake all the time. You go and buy a car a used car that is $3,000. It's old, it's 20 years old, has rust, has wear and tear and problems and this and that, and then you're upset that this car it's making noise and it's leaking oil, it's doing this and that. Well, did you actually manage your expectations for getting a value for your dollar that you paid for this car? Most people don't. And then when they go buy a car that costs $30,000, $40,000 used, they're expecting miracles. Don't do that. That is a mistake. Because if you want the absolute top expectations from this car, go buy it new. Bottom line. There is no such thing as a discount, savings, I got a deal. There's always something. Nothing is free in life but the love of God. Let's lay that on the table and say that. When you go look at a car and all the prices you're seeing for this particular car that you've done all your homework on is, let's say, around $20,000. All of a sudden you found one for $11,000. I'm gonna go buy that one, and it'll be great. It'll be the best car I ever bought. I got a crazy deal on it, and I'm just did great. Don't you want to take a step back and look at the number one question that I hope comes up? Why is that car cheaper than the rest? And the better question is, why have not 101 people like me looking for a used car jumped on it already? Which leads us to the most important thing, and this is only when you're buying cars from dealerships. How many days have this car been on the lot? Let me introduce you to a word called lot rot. Cars, when they sit at dealerships, the longer they sit, the more problems they will have. Because think about it. This car is thrown outside on the lot. It's being test driven by everybody and anybody that walks through the door. Do you really want to buy a car that's been in a dealership being test driven by everybody and anybody and just thrown outside like that? That's been there for 6 to 9 months? And the better question is, why has that car not sold in 6 to 9 months? Don't buy a car that's been sitting at a dealership lot too long. You can easily, some dealerships will kind of be vague about how long this car has been here, but manage your expectations, folks. Don't look for the deal, look for the good car. And once you find that good car, if it is a lot of money, You get what you pay for with cars all the time. Don't overpay, but don't underpay and expect it to be the same. That is very important. Folks, buying a used car is a very difficult process. See, when you buy a new car, you just gotta select the car that suits your needs and we're done. But with used cars, you gotta research into this particular car that you found. You gotta spend a lot of time. Don't make rush decisions. Don't fall into the, oh, well, this car is here now. If it's gone, it's gone. There's not one like it. There will always be one like it. Always. And there will be one even better. Let's just lay that out. No, regardless how the market is, you spend enough time and research and effort, you will find what you need out there. Always. And if you don't see it right now today, it may come up tomorrow and the day after. Don't rush to buy a car. Manage your expectations. Research. Spend the time before you even look at the car. The more time you spend researching and educating yourself about what car you're buying, the better the experience will be after you've actually find the one that suits your needs and your family's needs and buy it. Please, folks, don't buy cars in a rush. Get a pre-purchase inspection, proper pre-purchase inspection. I'm seeing a giant rise of disaster cars, disaster pre-purchase inspections. I just gave horrible news to a customer today, nicest gentleman in the planet. They just bought a Camry. I mean, I bought a Camry, it's reliable, what's going on? Well, it needs an engine. Engine is $10,000. Car they paid $5,000 for. That's a problem, folks. You gotta research. And the best part is when I'm talking to that customer, they told me that after they bought the car and realized it has all the issues with the engine, burning oil at a ridiculous rate, they actually researched and then found my channel, find another channels that talking about the same issue, and they were like, aha. But that was too late. You already bought the car. Don't buy a car, then find out its problems, find the problems, and then based on that, decide which car fits your needs. Essential, folks. Please, really don't like giving bad pre-purchase inspections, or my worst thing in the planet, post-purchase inspections is the worst thing you will ever do. Please don't do that. Folks, I hope this video was helpful and informative. I hope you learned something new. If you like it, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out some of my other videos. Until the next video, folks, may the Lord bless you and keep you, and you have yourself a wonderful day.